If Ubisoft didn't already have enough reasons for us to hate them, they have discovered more. Hello everyone, you're watching FANTAVISION, and of course please do hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Ubisoft recently has announced that September 1st they will be pulling the online for a lot of their older games, which right away, that's fine. Okay, I get it. You can't keep the online capability on all of those old games forever. It happens to the best of games. Halo 3, you can't play online anymore. Halo 2, wonderful classic games. You can't do it. It makes sense. They need to move those servers to other things, and there's just not enough players on Assassin's Creed 2 or a lot of these other games that justify the multiplayer. Now, I would argue that they should look into peer-to-peer multiplayer and find a way to allow it to keep going, maybe not have it on servers. Anyway, that's besides the point. The real issue is that they are going to be discontinuing DLC for a lot of these games. Now, that's fine again. DLC for multiplayer things, it makes sense. It makes sense. You can't use it anymore, map packs and the like. They go away with the online component. But for Far Cry 3, and I believe a couple other games as well, you are losing single player content. You are losing missions, weapons, and a lot of other things in the game that you're just not even going to have access anymore. Why? Why are they not allowing you to have access to DLC that you have paid for? This is them taking away things from you that you already own. And again, it just shows you how a all-digital gaming future would really be. You wouldn't actually own anything, and at any point they can decide whether or not you own your content. In fact, it got even crazier when we found out that we might not have access to Assassin's Creed Liberation HD anymore, because on the Steam page it said at some point you are no longer going to have access to this title, which implied that even if you owned the game, you could no longer play it. And Ubisoft was quiet about this for about a day or two. We were all sitting there wondering, are we really going to lose access to an entire game? Is this really what Ubisoft is planning on doing? I mean, how does that look for all of the other games that you own that happen to be Ubisoft games? Are all games just going to be taken away from us at some point? Well, thankfully, Assassin's Creed Liberation HD and Silent Hunter 5 will still be playable after it is delisted. But the fact that we even had to worry about this shows the problem of an all-digital future. And a lot of people in my Xbox Series S video were wondering why I ever thought $300 was too much. This is why. This right here is exactly why I thought an all-digital system for $300 was not a great deal, because unlike the PC, let's just say they did take down Assassin's Creed Liberation HD, and you could no longer play it on any of your consoles or your PC. Well, on the PC, there's this wonderful website called the Pirate Bay, where you could then still get access to a game that you purchased, and you could still get access to it again through questionable means. Now, I would argue that that should be legal. You purchased the right to play that game, and them taking it away from you should be illegal, but it's probably in one of those horrifically long things you have to scroll through before you play any Ubisoft game or any big budget game nowadays. And yeah, it's probably in there. It's probably saying you have the right to play this game for as long as it's available, but you don't actually own it. And that's why an all-digital console, if Assassin's Creed Liberation HD is gone, it's gone. You can't do anything about it. The fact that you don't own these games and that you only own the right to play them while they are available for as long as these companies deem, that's ridiculous. I don't think that's okay. I feel like once you buy something, you should own it. Hence, this massive game collection behind me of physical titles. Now, yeah, I am guilty of owning a lot of digital-only games on Steam, but you know, I mean, again, you have that option to fall back on if they decide to remove it from your library. If they suddenly said, hey, you can't have these games anymore, I'd be like, hey, I'm gonna do it anyway. Whereas in the console, if you don't have the disc, you don't have the game. And I know a lot of people are gonna argue that even with the disc, you still don't own the full version of the game, which is unfortunately true as well. A lot of these games have giant day one patches that fix major parts of the game, and some games are even unplayable without these patches, which again shows that we are shifting to a more digital world, but we should be worried. We shouldn't be out there defending it just because we're too lazy to put a disc in. It doesn't make any sense. I understand the convenience of not having to get up and switch games. Again, I have Game Pass and I have the Xbox Series S. It is very convenient. It is nice to have that quick switching between all those different games you've downloaded. However, for some reason, people feel the need to not only defend digital games, but attack people for wanting to buy them physically. I just don't understand these people, and it is incredibly frustrating. I also don't understand the people that are so painfully apathetic that they hate that people like me make videos like this. These videos need to be made. These companies need to be called out because, again, Ubisoft didn't answer us the first day that we saw that Assassin's Creed Liberation HD was going to just go away. It took a couple of days, which begs the question whether or not they were actually going to really let people keep the game, or if people just didn't make enough noise about it and didn't get upset enough, they were just going to let it disappear. So it's Ubisoft. They're already a terrible company for so many different reasons, whether it be all this sexual assault allegations or the fact that they shove microtransactions in every single game they make, or the fact that their games are just cookie-cutter versions of the one before and are basically Madden with a knife or a gun. They've truly shown what the future holds when it comes to a digital-only environment, and they show that they don't care and that they will do things out of convenience for them and not the customer. And I believe that everybody should be making videos about this. Everybody should be talking about it because companies only do things if we make enough noise. If they can see that it is going to affect their bottom line, that's when they do things. And unfortunately, if you look at Diablo Immortal, oh my God, the fact that it's making $1 million a day. Oh, I'd say it's dark times for video games, but I mean, I feel like it's just been waves of different terrible practices throughout history. And real quick, before I end the video, let me just go through all of the different things that are going to be taken away September 1st. Anno 2070 is going to lose its multiplayer, linking accounts, online features. Assassin's Creed 2, same. Assassin's Creed 3, the same, as well as access to the DLC. Assassin's Creed Liberation HD, almost lost access to the full game. Driver San Francisco, same thing. Far Cry 3, that's the one with single-player DLC that we'll be missing out on, which means there are parts of the single-player experience we'll never be able to have again. Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Sands, again losing access to DLC. Silent Hunter 5, all those things again, no DLC. Space Junkies, that whole game is multiplayer only came out in 2019, and that game is gone. Splinter Cell Blacklist, multiplayer, linking accounts, online features. And the thing is, it's very frustrating that Ubisoft games are losing online capability, including linking accounts and things like that. Now, for most games, not a big deal. But for Ubisoft games, because they decided to integrate all of their games into this separate Ubi Play infrastructure, it also means that we're going to be missing out on all those different costumes in Assassin's Creed, all the different weapons in Assassin's Creed, all the different weapons in Blacklist, all of these different games, including Far Cry 3, I believe. I think it has gone all the way back to then. We're going to be missing content, which again applies to single-player games because they decided to make all of their games require so much online integration and have so much content in that Ubi Play system. It means you're going to lose out on all of that content forever. And that's terrible for game preservation. And it really shows why we need to disconnect the online from everything. They shouldn't be so interwoven. It's nice that they had all those different things that they added for free from Ubi Play. But the fact that they're not just giving out all of those things for free to everybody before they shut that thing down is ridiculous. There's such a better way to handle it, and they're just not doing it because they don't care. They don't have to. They're not going to lose enough money in order to make it worth it for them to do. This whole situation would be a non-issue if they had peer-to-peer multiplayer in all these different games, and if they allowed you to have all the Ubi Play and all of the DLC offline. But nope. Unfortunately, even though no store is closing down, which is what normally triggers an event like this, they're just deciding to shut down all of these extra features that they've had in these games for all these years. And it sucks. Yeah, Ubisoft doesn't want you to buy their games. They don't want you to interact with their Ubi Play ecosystem because they're just going to shut it down in the future anyway. All of the different things that you do in their games, all of the things that you purchase separate from the main game itself, they're all going to be gone in the future. Far Cry 4, Far Cry 5, Watch Dogs, all these different games with massive amounts of DLC. It's just going to be gone, I feel like. And that's really sad because a lot of these games, they have a lot of great extra content and nobody's going to be able to experience them unless they pirate it, which is apparently what they want you to do to get the full game. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below about this whole situation. Of course, like the video if you guys liked it, subscribe for more content, and as always, have a fantastic day. See you, everybody.